If you have seen David Land's videos, then you know what this is. If you have not, then let me be the first to welcome you to Indianapolis 500 Evolution. It recreates USAC racing and the Indianapolis 500 during the period of greatest change in American open-wheel racing, the rear-engine revolution. Between 1961 and 1972, the Indianapolis 500 saw pole speeds climb from 147 miles per hour to almost 200 miles per hour, the greatest jump in speeds in the race's history. Front-engine roadsters had always been the tried-and-true racing machine. By the end of the 1960s, not a single front-engine car was in the field. Although the game ends with the 1971 season, we are not disappointed. In addition to the Indianapolis 500, seasons are created with historic tracks such as the kidney bean-shaped Trenton, the near circle of Langhorne, the Milwaukee Mile, the famous Riverside, and the triangular Hanford. The field has been painstakingly recreated with drivers, cars, engines, the works, to make this as much a historical immersion project as a racing video game. My intent, my hope, is to begin a career mode to bring you on this journey through the American motorsport's most critical time. I highly recommend you watch David Land's videos. I'll link them below. He is a wealth of knowledge and entertainment, and his This Week in Racing and Month of May series are great for passive and passionate motorsports fans alike. In this career, I hope to challenge David's career, even though he had no intention of competing against anyone other than the AI. Will he be the 1961 champion? Will I? Will AJ Foyt mimic the real 1961 season? Stay tuned and find out. This is Black Knight with Indianapolis 500 Evolution. From here, we can start in 1961 to 1971 seasons. We have it on the hardest difficulty with damage. The only flags are black flags and the blue flags for vehicles passing, but there's no cautions. Majority of our races are going to be a quarter distance. Here we have 25 laps for Trenton, which is a 100-lap race, so 25 laps. Indianapolis will be quarter distance would be 50 laps. We might up the distance for special events, special races, just to show 50%, 100%. Also, I'm not that good with talking and driving. Some races I might not even talk at all. It might just be a voiceover or whatever. But I do love research. I love history. I love the history of the 60s in motorsports. So if I'm not talking, I'll probably have little bits of information pop up on the screen, or even overdub like the race itself and talk a little bit, just to provide some sort of entertainment. I'm not that good at talking. So yeah, quarter distance, qualifying race. Yeah, let's qualify and race. Let's take you to the garage first. I lied. Here we are at qualification.
A great speed from car number 97.
All right.
Car number 22 has qualified for the race.
Well, there's a big gap there.
A fantastic lap.
Oh,
Car
Roger
number
Ward.
2 has surely secured the pole with that speed. A fantastic lap. Car number 8 is next to make a run.
David Land's famous Carlos Deltoni.
A great speed from car number 34. A fantastic lap.
All right, looks like if we can just break the 130, we're going to be on the pole.
A great speed from car number 98. He's secured his place for the start.
Parnelli Jones. I believe this was Parnelli's rookie year, too. So, well, good showing for the rookie. All right, let's head to that garage, show you what I'm working with. All right, so 1961, we start off with the de facto racing machine that they give you, a 1961 Offenhauser-powered 4-speed Epperle. Number 71, can't change the number. That's what they give you. I think you're stuck with that number throughout the career. So let's try Trenton with this. When we go to Indy, we might have a different vehicle just for that race. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right, so let's head out and qualify. Oh. All right, so it's going to be a best of 2 for qualifying for every race except the Indianapolis 500. So we're going to do an out lap, a warm-up lap, and then 2 hot laps. I am doing a manual transmission. Sorry if you hear the clicking. I'll try not to shift too much during the race, but hopefully it doesn't bother you if I do. Alright, so this is the front stretch at Trenton. We're still on warm-up lap. Turn 1. And then downshift. Come out of turn 2. Welcome to the backstretch at Trenton. Let me know if you notice anything odd. Like right here, where you have a banked right turn in the middle of a backstretch. That is something unique to Trenton. Trenton's not around anymore, but it was Trenton, New Jersey. Hosted USAC, open wheel racing, as well as NASCAR racing throughout the 70s and the 60s. This is 1961. They still would have been a paved 1 mile oval, wouldn't have had this layout.
His hand is up. He's starting his run.
Downshift. Yeah, and I believe it didn't have the trees, I don't think. I don't think it had an infield wall either. Yeah, I gotta be careful not to hit that when going through. Also, turn 3 and 4. They are recreated at Pocono as turn 1. Pocono was created with the turn 1 of Trenton, but 3 and 4 of Trenton. Their turn 1 was Trenton. Turn 2 was Indianapolis, and turn 3 is Milwaukee.
It's the final lap.
131? Yeah. I think we'll call that good. Just ride around a little bit. Another lap. Just gotta be careful. Gotta be careful on that race. Make sure I don't hit that outside wall, the inside curve. It kind of complicated. The outside wall that is the inside in the turn. Yeah. Just gotta be careful. Shouldn't have to pit or anything during this race. Only 25 laps. And we should have the pole. 41.08, 131.45 miles per hour. Alright, they finished qualifying. Ooh. I got one other person in the 130s. Bobby Grimm starts outside. I start the pole. Right behind me, Parnelli Jones. Roger Ward in 4th. Slowest speed 120.3. It's a good spread. I don't think we're going to end up catching the tail end of the field. Wow, look at that. Goes from 131, 130, 129, 128, 120, then instantly 14th, 127, 126, 124, down to 123, 121. So that tail end is going to be pretty slow and lagging. But yeah, let's get trackside and let's start this race.
Welcome to Trenton International Speedway. This 1.5-mile oval track is very fast and a popular stop for all the drivers and teams.
All right, we're going to start this in the cockpit view.
Green flag, go!
Oh, we do not want that. Racing line. There we are. So, since we're here, pause menu, can replay part of the video. We'll check that out in a little bit. Restart. You can save current progress in a race. That'll be perfect if you want to do 100% in the Indy 500 or something. Most of these other races are about an hour long if you did 100%, so you might not need to save those, but definitely the Indy 500. That could be over 4 hours long. Skip this race in the career mode where we can just drop out, say we're done. Obviously quit, resume the race. Yeah, we'll check out replay in a little bit. Drifting up a little bit. Oh, Bobby Grimm. He's on the inside. On my left side. Oh, okay. He slowed down a bit. Ooh. Let's not die on the first lap. Let's wait a couple laps before we die. Alright. Have not practiced at all. So, what you see is what you get. Look behind us. Alright, let's change the view a little bit. We can do a kind of like a hood cam. Downshift. Ooh, got close to that wall. You'll notice it does the tachometer, what gear you're in, speedometer, fuel. Fuel does go down throughout the race. And tires. Tires wear out. The way I drive it, the front right always wears out first. I know that's the way I drive. Also, with the fuel, as you go further in the race, the car does get lighter. It's a little faster. A lot of these shorter races, anything not the Indy 500 basically, you can make on one tank of fuel. The tires, on the other hand, the way I race, like I said, I don't know if I can make it on one set of tires. Luckily, we're on a 25% race. We don't have to worry about that. We'll just race all the way through. So let's switch the view again. Oh, we got like a bumper cam. As we come through the sweeping 3 and 4 onto the front stretch. We're getting our speed up there, about 160. I'm going to start tapping the brakes ever so gently. Downshift. Leading by about 2 seconds. Shift again at 8,000 RPMs. Alright, chase cam. A little bit quieter. You just see the beauty of the the front engine roadster, sorry. You'll see the contrast when the rear engine cars start showing up. There's actually one in this race. We'll talk about him a little bit more during qualifying for the Indy 500. So the driver sat on the right typically because the fuel was on his left side. That provided more weight, easier to turn in the corners. I forgot to shift. Not good for the driver in the event of a side impact. But it's the 60s. Racing was extremely dangerous. Open wheel racing around the world saw deaths at least every month. It was pretty common for them to happen at Indy every year. In fact, 1964 was the darkest day in Indy 500 history. We'll talk more about that when we get to that. But I think even in 1961, a driver died during practice and a track worker died during the race. So not a safe time. Safety and innovation was happening, but it's nowhere near like where it is today. So we're already on lap 6. We'll leave the chase cam for a little bit and then go back to the cockpit view. But I'm going to stop talking and let you kind of enjoy everything. ooh. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. That was not good. And now I have damage on my right front. It's wobbling. We're going to just try to make it the whole race. But, yeah, I went a little too hard into turn 1 and drifted up the track. Lap before that, though, was the fastest lap I had so far. Yeah, let's go back to that cockpit view and see the wobbly tire. There it is. Ooh, that's not good. It doesn't even look like it's centered on anything. I think it's just the travel and the suspension. Yeah, go fast enough, it kind of straightens out. You can see how bumpy it is. Damage in this game is not spectacular, but it's surprisingly good. It's hard to describe how this game is. It's kind of like an arcade, but it's a very well-made arcade game, and historical immersion. A lot of information. So, what is it, like 10 years old now? No, it's not. No, maybe not that old, but it's not the most graphically appealing, most technical. There's no vehicle settings you can do, car setups or anything, but it's got a lot of historical information, and it's pretty fun to race. You get moving around. These cars are they're not downforce dependent, so they move around a lot. They slide around. They're bumping around, and you'll lose wheels and stuff if you crash into people. It's pretty good for what it is, and I love playing it just as a regular racing game, not including the historical content. So we're not hurting too bad, still above 130 with this damage. So let's see if we can take this a little bit more serious and not bump into anything else, including the wall, including other drivers. Oof. I can never get this turn 3 and turn 4 right. I always diamond out of it or something. But with not being able to set up the car or anything, it does drive pretty well. It's not too tight overall. It's not too loose. This is possibly my most favorite racing game that I have. I wouldn't call it a simulator. Well, I might. It's got so many pros to it that I can't even find the cons, but they're there. But for people that love history, that love racing history, just like a challenge, try racing Indianapolis for 500 laps in a 1961 Roadster, driving over that brick. It's pretty intense. It's pretty fun. It's incredible. And as time goes on, you get used to the speed of a Roadster. What are we doing? About 120 right now through the turn. As time progresses, you get more and more used to that speed, and then the next year, another race car will show up that's faster. And the next year, faster. And the speeds just get faster than you think you're willing. Faster than you think you're ready to handle, and it kind of always leaves you on the edge of control. You know, if you play, if like I started out playing NASCAR Thunder 2003. That was my first ever racing game that I played careers in. You could do 20 seasons. You could get really used to a track, really used to the cars. Nothing much changed. You did upgrades on things, but more or less everything stayed the same. By year 10, year 15, it's the same race. It's just different names for the cars. Maybe the chassis is a little bit better. Tires wear a little bit better. But in this race, the drivers change year by year. the cars change year by year, not just what they look like, but what they actually are. Like this year, it was, I think the pole speed will be about 147 miles an hour for Indy. By the end of this race, it'll be 170. I'll be doing 200 mile an hour, 200 mile an hour into the turns at Indy. And it doesn't give you time to get used to the cars, to kind of figure out a way of racing around here. Not only is it faster, there's downforce by the end of it. There's rear engine. The physics are different with rear engine. It just every year it seems to be like a new game, new racing game, and I love that. This is the most advanced career mode I've seen out of a game in a long time, because you don't have that innovation in any other racing game. You don't play F1 2019 and the next year they have different cars or different specs, and you can't really do that with any other series. This time, the 1960s, so much changed between 1961 and 1971. It just can't be recreated, and nobody's even come close to trying to recreate it. The differences season by season. It would be nice if NASCAR could do something where they had like a 10-year career mode where you started, I don't know, the early 70s, late 60s, started on dirt, and by the end of it, I don't know, what can you do in 10 years? I mean, it's just so much changed. And that's the whole purpose of the game, to showcase how much everything has changed. So, here we are, Mr. Carlos Deltoni. If you've seen David Land's videos, you know exactly who this is. But, oh, jeez. Apart from trying to kill us, he is our slowest racer. And he is the one that we're going to lap first or only. Let's take him on the inside. There we go. Take our wobbly wheel car and pass him. Hit the blue X. Check behind us. I am using a Thrustmaster. Oh, what is it? Thrustmaster. It's like a Ferrari version of the Thrustmaster. I'll put the information below. But I just got it. I got it like a week ago. Took a long time to get here because of the pandemic that shall not be named on YouTube. But yeah, it took me like a month and a half, it seems like. But yeah, using that wheel for Xbox 360. Still learning everything, still getting accustomed to it. I have a oh god. I have a Logitech G29 for my regular racing wheel that I've been using for about a year now. I still have it for anything that's computer related or PlayStation related. But it's like gear driven. It's a gear driven wheel, and I got so used to that, and it clicks and it makes noise. And sorry if you ever hear that in the future, but I'm used to it. This, I'm not. It's the belt, like bungee cord style wheel. It's quiet. It's smooth. I love that. But I'm just not used to it, I guess. Also, there's no force feedback, so you don't feel anything other than the exact inputs that you put in. Made it a little hard to start driving it first, but I think I've got a good rhythm going. Let's check behind us again. Oh, Deltoni is just gone now. I think Grimm probably lapped him already. You see a few more lap cars out there. I don't think we're going to get to them by the end of the race. Oh yeah, there's the field. It's actually beautiful. Seeing him come off the turn like that. Yeah, I believe Trenton is now a shopping center in Trenton, New Jersey. iRacing brought back North Wilkesboro. I hope they can get even more innovative and bring back tracks that don't even exist, haven't existed for decades, like Trenton, like Ontario, like Riverside. I think iRacing can get there eventually. It might take a while. It might take a decade. But I think eventually we'll be able to get almost realistic racing at Riverside on iRacing, or here at Trenton. They might even redo some of the racetracks that they have. It would be astounding to see them take Indianapolis and cover it in bricks. And I don't mean like in a virtual smooth as glass race surface. I mean the bumps in the bricks, the vibrations, everything. Turn Indianapolis back into what it was in 1961, 1946, 1911. There's so many people that love sim racing, not just for hopping in a car, a modern car on a modern track, but love it because you can do so many things that you... Oh, Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel. So many things that you can't do now. Go back and race at Indianapolis in a roadster, or race Le Mans in a I don't know, the Ford versus Ferrari age.
It's the final lap.
Sorry, I'm not good at talking, but I do rant and ramble. So final lap. This race was more of a showcase and kind of discuss things, get to know you a little bit, get to know me a little bit. Oh, I got really close to that wall. When we get to the next race, Indianapolis, I won't talk as much. I'm going to try not to talk as much, especially during qualifying too. But, man, I'm just excited and happy to begin this series. And so happy and excited to start off with a win. First race, got to win.
Car number 71 takes the checkered flag.
So as the field fills out here, we definitely got the fastest lap. 10 points for winning. Top 8 get points. The respect. If you race these guys clean and don't bump into them, if you race around them, or you do good in a race, you'll get respected. You'll get liked. If you bump into people, if you race them dirty, things like that, they'll start disliking you.
The leader makes a pit stop.
That can negatively affect you. They'll start blocking you.
Car number 16 makes a pit stop.
Getting in your way in the racing groove, things like that.
Car number 3 makes a pit stop.
If you're liked, they might get out of your way, let you keep the line.
Car number 83 makes a pit stop.
And just get through with your day and make racing so much easier.
Car number 8 makes a pit stop.
I'm definitely going to try to keep respect for a lot of people and
Car
race
number
cleanly.
86 makes a pit stop.
If it comes down to it, I would rather take my time getting around somebody or even lose a race than potentially bump into them, get them to dislike me.
Car number 33 makes a pit stop.
It makes life so much easier in the long run, and the respect stays with you year after year.
Car number 34 makes a pit stop.
Drivers come and go. You'll see some disappear. Number 10 here, Eddie Sachs. He's in 1964. He's not after his crash in 1964 though. It was obviously fatal for him. At the Indy 500, and we'll get into that later in the future. But he goes. He's another driver takes the place. More and more drivers will show up. Al Unser, I don't think he's... Oh, yeah, 96 when he wouldn't be here. Al Unser shows up. Mario Andretti, Kelly Yarborough from NASCAR. They'll show up. They won't have respect, or they won't like you or dislike you or anything. You have to earn that. But AJ Foyt, he's around the entire 11 years. He's around for a lot longer after this ends. Still winning races. But how he respects me, liked or disliked or whatever, that stays year by year. So that's a really cool feature. Credit awards on the right hand here. You get credits to to help you buy new chassis year after year. You got to keep improving the race car. You only get this Epperly. If you fail to buy anything else, you're going to be racing this against some cars that can do 200 mile an hour in the turns. This thing's putting along at maybe 160 into the turn at Indy. So you get credits for pole position, clean race. I did bump into something, hence the wobbly wheel. Finishing position, 5,000 points for winning. Finish bonus, not 100% sure what that means, but whatever. High climber, if I start dead last and win, obviously you get a lot. Fastest lap, you get some points, that's good. Race credits, you get points for passing people cleanly. You get points for every lap that was clean, things like that. So total awards, almost 12,000 credits. That's great. So let's see what the point standings at. So here's the trophy room before we get to the points. So trophy room, every single case is a race in this game. So you'll see in the first season, Trenton 150, 1961 Trenton 150. Next race is the Milwaukee 100. Caveat to this. Indy is not in the trophy case, but you'll see Trenton 150. Next race would be Indy, and then here we have Milwaukee 100, the Rex Mays Classic. Langhorne, Milwaukee again, Tony Bentonhausen race, and then Trenton 300, season finale. Next year, Trenton, Milwaukee, Langhorne, Trenton, Milwaukee. So the last race in 61 is Trenton. Last race in 62 is Milwaukee. Milwaukee. Trenton. And then we'll add more races as we go on. Last race in 65 is Riverside. So that'll be fun when we get to there. So here's the season standings. Now I got some people that are indifferent. Believe those are the ones that weren't in the Trenton race. But we'll see a lot of them at Indy. Carlos Staltoni erased him clean, or tried to. He almost ran me off the road. So Bobby Grimm finished second in the race. All right. Next event, 1961 45th Indianapolis 500. So that was race 1 of 6. Unofficially keeping track of me and David Land's championship battle. Link to his races below. But here's the standings for us. As you can see, I won. If you like this race, hit like and subscribe for more videos. Leave a comment with your thoughts and ideas for future videos. If you want me to change something in the gameplay, let me know. This has been Black Knight 448 with Indianapolis 500 Evolution. I'll see you next time.